is joining us live tonight. Thank you for taking the time to spend with us here this evening, coming to you live on Timeouts and Tangents. Carter, I cannot thank you enough for this, man. It means a
Yeah.
lot to be able to share this stage with you, and you come on to my just starting pod, man. Thank you so much for being here.
No, it's a pleasure to be here. Good to have you, man. How you feeling about LSU tackle football right now?
What the vibes are high. The morale is immaculate. Um, I haven't felt like this since Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson were coming back in 2019.
Oh, yeah, wait,
Like
you feel that? You feel that
I'm
great?
I'm feeling just like that. I'm feeling high, brother.
Okay.
I'm not saying we're gonna have that type of run, but I remember the expectations that I had for that team going into that year, and it was, I wouldn't be shocked if we did. I wouldn't be mad if we didn't either. You know, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked if we did, but I wouldn't be mad if we didn't. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
haven't had that feeling since then. So it feels good. I'm glad you asked that. Let me ask you this: what was your feelings on October 25th at 10 o'clock that night? Because I remember your live. I remember watching your live stream the night we stormed the field for Alabama. I remember
Yeah.
joining your live and watching you ride that emotional high all the way through. So, what was your emotions on the night of October 25th when we
Yeah.
got our
So
teeth
so
kicked
so
in?
we're going back to 2022, right? Um, that was a crazy high. Obviously, Mason Taylor making the catch. It was nothing short of incredible. I wasn't supposed to be at the game. A very generous viewer said, "Hey, we want you to go to the game. This is just a donation." So I didn't know there were going to be great seats. And what do you know? 50-yard line seats were about 40 rows up. And ironically, one of my closest friends on the planet Earth, I met that night. A friend of mine named Kevin, who I talk to every day. And he's an older, just LSU fan, big supporter of PHL. So that gave me one of the closest friends I have. And then at the end of that game, my phone died. And the last, so I did the live stream, and there's a video. I shot like a video of me running onto the field, and I was supposed to meet up with my best friend to go do the post game show somewhere else. And somehow, some way, with the dead phone, I run right into my best friend on the
that's
field.
that's
So
amazing.
it was truly a magical evening. And what was crazy about it was me, my closest friend, got to see magically my best buddy. His name's T Pain, like the singer.
That's
He
amazing.
there were so many people that were at that game that posted photos and videos that were really good friends of mine in college and all of that. Didn't see him. So it made it that much more miraculous that those two things happened. So I wasn't supposed to be there, and then obviously you go right into doing a post game show after that. Lucky enough, my uncle lives like a few blocks away from Tiger Stadium, so I set up and do my show from there. And to tie that into Lane Kiffin, we would have never have thunk that that night would have ended as badly as it ended for Brian Kelly. And lucky
Right.
enough for LSU football, we were able to land on our feet and get to where we are right now.
Right. And that's why, I wanted to start with that because, it paints a picture from, as a fan base experiencing one of the highest of highs that we could have. You have a walk-off
Yeah.
2-point conversion to beat Alabama at home in an in the inaugural season for Brian Kelly to
Yes.
carry us forward from 2022 to now the 2025 season, and you see Texas A&M come to Tiger Stadium and absolutely kick our teeth in. So
Not it was sad.
how did you feel that night after watching that display of what we called SEC collegiate football take place in Death Valley?
Yeah, I felt it was over after that night. And it was funny because in the week leading up, there was already kind of conversations being had about how things were going. And it's funny, I go on this show, I shared this on PHL, but I'll share this with you today. I'm not the source guy. I never want to
Right.
be like Adam Schefter and the people that do a lot of source reporting, being the first insider, all that stuff. I have a lot of respect for them. I have a journalism degree and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm very selective when I use like, hey, this is a person I talked to or whatever. But I,
Right.
I did have two pretty long phone calls today. One with someone involved with LSU NIL and someone else who is has been with LSU for a while, and it is amazing how much people behind the scenes hated Brian Kelly. And I've shared that when he was at LSU from time to time, but it's always tough to say that about the guy that's currently coaching your team.
Right.
But yeah, and Lane is just a complete opposite for now. Right, we'll see what happens as we move forward. If we win, everybody's going to be happy. But Laney's just clicked and checked every box. And the selflessness to get on the plane to tell Sam Levitt, we really want you. Get on the plane, tell Jordan Steen, we really want you. Obviously, visit all these high schools. You wouldn't think
Oh
that
man.
high school recruiting isn't as important in the portal area the way that the LSU coaches have been to all these different high schools for recruiting and all of that. So it goes to show you that Lane is really all in and making this work. And it's for good reason, right? Obviously, he's a professional. He's getting paid to do this. He's a very good coach. But there is not going to be any coach under more pressure over the next 3 seasons than Lane Kiffin, knowing what he did
Absolutely.
with Ole Miss. Now, in the very first season, he's not going to be under the most pressure. Obviously, Beamer's a guy that's probably on a hotter seat. DeBoer to a certain degree, even though
Right.
he just won a playoff game. Um, there's hotter seats in the SEC, but Lane knows that there's nobody under more pressure than him in the SEC to go win something. And in order to win a natty, you have got to work your ass off. It's hard
Yep.
to luck into one of these things. Even if you think someone like Ed Orgeron lucked into a national championship, and there were a lot of lucky things that went into his way, he still worked his ass off. He still looked at
Yeah.
himself in the mirror and said, "Hey, I got to go get the current head coach of the Buffalo Bills to come in and fix my passing attack. And
Right.
I've got to do a better job of game management. I've got to modernize my approach in many different ways." So Lane obviously is worked his tail off up to this point. Really can't say anything negative about him at all. But obviously, ultimately, as a coach, it comes down to how you perform on Saturdays. To me, AP, the biggest thing moving forward for LSU is that as good as Joe Brady was and as good as Steve Ensminger was, this is by far the most offensive pedigree that LSU has
Yes.
ever had on a coaching staff. I tend to think position coaches don't matter too much for certain play callers and all of that. And I think
Right.
Lane and Charlie would be fine if any of the position coaches were to say, "Hey, I got this job. I'm just leaving." But George McDonald's a coach I'm really high on.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think he's going to do really good things. He's a wide receivers coach for LSU, and George has done a really good job developing receivers, getting them to run their routes. This was not a very heralded transfer portal wide receiver class that
Yep.
that went into Ole Miss, and there really wasn't a better set of receivers in the SEC, maybe outside of Texas A&M, than Ole Miss's. Definitely,
I
they
think
performed.
since not to cut you off, Carter, but
Now, go ahead.
touching on that. I mean, I think since Lane has been there hasn't been a top wide receiver going into Ole Miss that anybody can
Yeah,
name, but you can name a lot of them coming out, and that
right,
says a lot. Like we
right.
you at LSU, we get the Brian Thomases, the Malik Neighbors, the Kayshawn Booties, and they leave as household names, even though they entered as household names too. Lane has had to go up against the fact that he had to take a guy like Trey Harris and who was a high school quarterback and develop him into
Yeah,
a household name. And like you said, like George McDonald is the absolute maker of that. He's the molder of that. And the fact that you can add him to this staff was probably one of the biggest additions that we made without having to make a lot of noise behind it.
yeah, yeah. I think George is going to do really good here, and then Sawyer Jordan, the inside receivers coach. It's
Hmm.
it's 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 going to be a lot of fun seeing them operate. So, I think George is also excited because LSU is LSU. He's going to have
Right.
the best receivers he's going to have in his career, or at least the best landing spot to get receivers than he ever has in his career. Now, I'll also say this: I don't know George. Obviously, I know some of the people that are at LSU. This is just an objective analysis of him. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. And to me, he's got one of the more difficult jobs on this staff because this is a very ambiguous wide receiver room. I think
Yeah.
we, as a fan base, we can guesstimate that. Well, Jace Brown has probably had the most impressive career up to this point of the receivers that they brought in. So
Yes.
one could deduce that he's probably going to have a good season at LSU. But that's the brilliance of it. You don't know.
You
I
don't
mean, you
know.
you 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 have no clue. It could be Elzy, the transfer from Illinois.
Right.
I mean, there's
Could be
so
Winnie
many different ones.
Watkins.
Could be, it could be. And then and I actually I do think Winnie's going to catch 20, 30 balls next year.
I think so
Um
too.
and then you get into Trey Brown, you get into obviously Trey Wilson. It's a very fascinating wide receiver group. The Jackson kid coming over from McNeese, it might
Yep.
be him. You don't know. And I'll be honest, it is overwhelming because, as you know, I like to watch every single player myself and
Right.
make my own evaluations. I get paid to do that, luckily by some fans of my channel and all of that. But this one's going to be the hardest year. I've never had to do 56 players in a year. Normally, there is
That
no more than 25. Uh,
right.
so, and it's crazy because, and obviously, I'm just rambling here,
No,
but
go ahead.
what's fascinating, and this is why I like doing guest appearances because, like
Yeah.
on on like my actual show, I just want to make it a little bit more newsy, do what most people have. But I
And
feel
that
like I just feel like
and that
rambling here.
and that's
All
why
right.
that's why I wanted you on, Carter, because
Okay.
I know that you can go and I could go with you. That's why I call the show
Right.
Timeouts and Tangents, because I can just slip into one and we can just roll.
So one thing that was really fascinating is, well, it's actually two things. What makes the wide receiver room crazier now is you now have this Corey Barber situation where he gets the fifth star
Yep.
and he becomes an on 3 5 star. And the rankings on him are mixed. 247 doesn't view him as a 5 star, on
It's
three
such
does.
a wide gap.
Yeah, it's massive. And now you have a true freshman that's coming in as a 5 star. Does that change anything for him? Does he know what he's actually walking into? I'll tell you this: um, not everybody feels he's the best receiver. That's a freshman. There's many that feel Jabari Mack is better, which
And
I don't know. I'm
and
not.
and
Go
see,
on.
I've seen Jabari Mack play up close 3 times now. Because
Okay,
Carr and Destrehan scrimmage every spring. That's their spring game. And I can tell you this: when Jabari Mack was on the field and Manchild was not there, Jabari Mack was the best receiver on the field.
wow. Okay.
And it wasn't close. Like Jabari, he is a dude. And
Oh, interesting.
I, I,
Okay.
I was able to judge, and I judge him going up against the corners that Carr had. Carr had an elite secondary, and you
Yeah,
had 2 4 stars and a 4 star safety. And anytime you can get wide open on routes with them, you're doing something great. Against the pass rush that they had in Richard Anderson, and then the year before with Richard Anderson and Corey Adams. So
that's right. Yeah.
he was able to make plays against that defense, and it wasn't too many receivers that stepped on that field that gave that defense trouble. Jabari Mack did. Like he is a kid. Like he is a dude. And if you're looking at these new on three rankings and how they folded and he slipped to being unranked, I think you may have the biggest sleeper in this recruiting cycle in him.
Wait, he slipped that far? I didn't pay
Yeah,
too much.
he went to unranked.
Wait, on three? I now I have to.
he either
This stuff
went unranked
fascinates
or
me.
3-star. It was the way I was reading it on Twitter, it was very jumbled. But he either went to unranked or 3-star, but he's not a 4-star anymore.
Let me go to his all right, keep going.
So,
So
but so I
yeah.
think that you have the biggest sleeper in that recruiting cycle in him, because that's a kid that can come in, and I'm telling you, I've watched these kids play up close, like with my own eyes, and I'm very hard on, on talent evaluation, like just me, just judging against
Okay, good.
competition. And when you see a kid that's supposed to be the best player on the field, he I'm gonna put it to you like this. Desterhan at times this year was playing this kid at middle linebacker. They played Catholic in Baton Rouge, and he took a 99-yard pick six back to the house from the middle linebacker spot. He is a football player, and playing him at wide receiver is a cheat code because he can actually
And you so
run really
you
good
are very
routes.
so you're very high on Jabari. So On three
I'm
made him
high
like a
on.
middle tier 4-star. So he's like a
Yeah,
national 256. So he did drop a
that's what
good
it. Yeah,
bit.
he dropped to 256. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
So
So but he
so
still dropped a good bit. Yeah.
right, like he was a higher ranked 4-star, and this kid is good. He is legitimately good, and I'm not just
Okay.
saying I don't know him, don't have no dog in the fight. I'm just watched him, and I judge him based off of what I seen with my own eyes. I will put it to you like this: the 2024 car football team will beat the sleeves off the 2025 football team, and that's because they had three elite wide receivers. If I take Jabari Mack and put him on that 2024 car team, he would be wide receiver two, and he would be pressing Manchild to be wide receiver one. And that team had three Division One wide receivers, and they were all good.
God, I didn't know I'd get into a Jabari Mack chatter.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Early.
and that's only because personally I've seen him, and when I saw his rank slip that far, it threw me for a loop. So, and when you see him drop that far and Corey Barber rise that high, it makes you wonder, like, what did he do in On Three's eyes to earn it? And I'm not trying to knock him or anything, because if we got a 5-star wide receiver coming in, of course I'm happy about that. I mean, you lost one when you got Tristan Keys flipped off from you from LSU to Tennessee. So you kind of replace what you lost at the start of the season. So, but it still leads me to ask the question: what did he do that much to go from a fringe? He was he was barely ranked as the top 20 wide receiver, and he finishes top three. That's an impressive jump over
Yeah.
the course of 6 months.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was the camps. Like he torched uh Barber torched like this Alabama All-Star game. Uh and the Under Armour types of games he crushed. Actually someone that was at the game was like, Carter, this Corey Barber dude might be the best receiver here. Um so yeah, I mean that had a huge influence. And whether or not the sites would tell you this, they do factor in camp settings a little bit more heavily
I can
than
believe that.
and part of that is because it's good on good. You
Right.
know, like a few years ago there was you know, Dano Stewart. He was dominating the other 4 and 5 stars, and it's like, yeah, okay, this guy's probably pretty good if he's even at a camp setting. And one-on-ones can get weird. We're seeing that in the Senior Bowl right now.
Yeah.
Um, and what these camps can also gauge is your actual competitiveness. Are you actually going up against the ones? Or are you just kind of being there just to be there? Uh, good example of this. I know I know one of the evaluators that slid Will Campbell in the 247 rankings.
Hmm.
And I was like, why? And the thing that a lot of people don't know is these rankings that they do is heavily based on how they view you as NFL draft prospects, right? So,
Okay. All
like,
right. All right. All
yes.
right.
So on 3 and 247, and it's kind of a pet peeve of mine because I would prefer you do the rankings based on how you think they're gonna do as college
College
players.
projection.
Right.
Yeah.
But they more so project you on how they view you as an NFL player. So what happened with Will, when the reason Will slid is because of arm length, which is the exact thing that the NFL guys have said about him. Now, obviously, Will is one of the best offensive tackles in SEC history. He's to me the best offensive tackle ever at LSU is Will Campbell. I know Andrew Whitworth's
I'm about to
around
say
Black.
even
I
better
mean,
than Whitworth.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, no. But Whitworth's the thing that Whitworth has over him is 4 years and an Natty. I'll give him that. Trust me.
Yeah.
But I Will's the best offensive lineman I've ever seen at LSU. I truly do believe that. It's not recency bias. I truly do believe he's the best. Now I think I could get into like which offensive lines were better. I think the
I know
best
you told me
LSU
the
offensive
2007. I know
love
you
that
said that
unit.
the and it's
That's my
funny.
personal favorite.
It,
Yeah,
it's
go on.
funny. It's funny. I know Carnell Stewart.
Oh,
He
cool.
yeah, he trains with my son. So I see him just about every Saturday. And
Hell yeah. Let's
I
go.
told him, I told him, so I'm gonna actually get him on the show one night, and I'm gonna try to get you on with him.
I'd love
Like
to.
you
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
like just talking ball. Oh my god! But I told him about you and how you said that that '07 offensive line was your favorite offensive line, and his comment to me was, yeah, our '07 O line would beat the sleeves off any LSU O line that came before us or after
That's
us.
funny. And I get him having that mentality because they're never talked about because they
Yeah, they
didn't
were
have it.
dogs. They
Yeah,
were a
and
unit.
they didn't have any NFL guys.
Right.
That really hurts your all time kind of arguments when you say, well, how many of you guys did that in the NFL? And none of them had NFL success. But yeah, they were good. They were so good. And I don't give a damn that they didn't do great in the NFL. They had the
Yeah.
offensive line, so many comebacks. That '07 team was down by 10 in I think 5 different games and
Five
won
different
all of them.
games.
Yeah. And so as a pass rusher, if I know you got to throw and you're not that great of a throwing attack, your job becomes harder.
Yep.
And those dudes just freaking were s- stones basically. I mean, they were ice cold in the clutch, and I freaking loved it. But so back to the Will thing. That's why they docked him is because of the arm length. All right, so
That's crazy. Even as an 18-year-old kid.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of weird because 247 kind of got that correct. What they didn't
Right.
get correct was that this is going to be one of the best SEC players ever.
Ever.
And then you get into, well, he still was the number 4 overall pick. But what was the big knock on him? The arm length.
Arm length.
That was the only thing. All right, so they you get into should Will have been the number 4 guy? Well, then our man Mimbu of Missouri popped up. I'm
Hmm.
not a good offensive line evaluator at all, but I watched his tape and I was like, damn, this dude's insane. Like Mimbu is just truly insane. And I'm pretty sure he had a good rookie season. But now you get into Will in the postseason. What has been his problem? Well, he's gone up against the best pass rushers you could face,
Right.
and he's had arm length issues. That
Yep.
he's gotten
He's
torched.
getting beat with speed, and he can't get hands on people.
Yeah, and that's a crazy thing. I don't think that that's necessarily a death sentence for him in the NFL. He was an overall good rookie, having to deal with an injury and all of that. But
No, that's just gonna come down to technique. He
right,
just got to
and
tighten up his
and
technique.
he'll work around it. But
Right.
there's some people that already want him to move to guard and all of that. But understand that like there are so many different things that go into these evaluations, and they're judging it based on draft picks. That's why Rivals has 30, 32 5 stars. All right. The reason I use the number 32 is because there's
32
32
picks.
first round picks. So they're trying to look at a 5 star recruit and say, hey, in 3 to 4 years, are you going to be a first round pick? So they got it wrong with Will Gamble, but they also, kind of got it somewhat correct, even though it really wasn't correct because he ended up being the number one offensive lineman off the board. So
Right.
uh, these evaluations could get crazy. Now, here's the funny thing about it is I like that. I like the fact that there are people out there that are willing to put their reputation on the line and actually grade these guys.
Yeah.
Then you get into how much do these star rankings actually matter? All right. So it's layered. So does it matter and this is where it gets really philosophical? Does it matter to you as a fan? Well, a lot of fans like it. All right. Then you have the Nick Saban side of it, where Nick Saban to Pat McAfee says, well, you know what? We actually do our own thing, right? Who are the ones that give out the star grades? Those are a bunch of nobodies. We're the football guys here. That's what he basically said uh,
Right.
to McAfee. Well, if that's the case, why did Alabama have so many stars? It just happened to be that the
It just
guys that
happened
you
to
were
be.
after, right?
Right.
And then the inverse of that is also true, where the Bama bump, right? Where
Yep.
if Alabama offers, it's going to automatically, shoot your
Raise you up a
ranking up,
star.
right? And people are wondering that with Corey Barber right now is, well,
Is is Lane
is it
getting an
because he's
LSU level?
right? Is Corey getting the Lane and the LSU bump and the George McDonald bump? So
Right.
you go into so many different things about the rankings, and the rankings folks swear up and down, hey, it has nothing to do about what team you go to. And what's really, really, really been fascinating about On Three's rankings is On Three is not afraid to take some wild stances on some guys. Like, dude, they
True.
have for this cycle, they have some crazy rankings for 2026. They
What was
moved
the
to five,
craziest one that you've noticed?
the number one overall guy. Some dude I never heard of.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
too, and I was like, "Who is this dude? Like, what did he? You ever seen the program? You ever seen the program? The old movie from the '90s?
No.
You've never seen that movie with Omar
Never seen
Gooding
the
Jr.?
program. No.
Oh, come on, Omar
I,
Epps.
I
Oh
guess
my
I'm
God,
lame.
Carter, you're a football guy. You got to watch this movie. So there's a guy, there's a white guy full of roids. He's like bashing his head into like car windows when he finds out that he's a starter for the team, and it follows like college football. It follows this one college football team. It almost looks like they're centered around, like they're taking a full version of Florida State because their colors are crimson and gold. The team was like ECU. I forgot what the letters actually stood for. You see them recruiting this 5-star or blue chip running back. That's who Omar Epps plays. And he goes on the recruiting trips and everything. And then he comes in as a true freshman competing to try to get the starting running back spot. And he's got to deal with classes and all this stuff. But of course, they got to deal with guys who are drinking and going out to bars and
Yeah.
kids who are trying to get money under the table to take care of their parents and guys in the locker room taking steroids. Well, there's this one guy who looks like he's about 35 years old, like he's working on the 7th year in college. He finally breaks into a starting lineup, and the coaches are wondering, like, how did he develop this fast? He's been on this team for 4 years and he never played like this. Well, the dude's shooting up roids. And they figured it
Let's
out that he's
go.
shooting up roids. They know he's shooting up roids because he's flashing out. And of course, he got insanely strong over a short amount of time. Well, this guy looks just like the guy from USC. So as soon as I
Okay.
saw him, that's
Okay.
exactly where my brain went. So you got to watch this movie.
Yeah. So Luke Waffle, I think is his name. Now
Yeah.
that you now that you've said that, he does look like the villain off a movie or like the typical Disney athlete or something like that.
Yes.
But
Yes,
but yeah,
man.
to your point, Luke Waffle is the
Latimer, look in the chat. Somebody, my partner Ryan,
what's up, Bratch?
that's Bratz. That is my guy. That's my best friend, my mentor. Thank you for being on the show, Ryan. And my other best friend, Nick, who absolutely loves your show, Carter. He's been
Good.
begging me since I started this podcast to get you on. And then we got our
What's
guy
up, bro? No,
Paul.
you didn't know Bratch and I are cousins?
No,
Yes.
what?
Yeah, it's wild. You didn't know that?
Ryan, when I get off this podcast, I got a phone call to make. Ryan.
I just made that
Oh, I
up.
was about
I
to
just
say
I
that.
no, because you're a true Louisianian because you're like, uh, we're all kind of related.
Yeah,
So,
we're all related. We're all related. We're all related.
but
My
no,
boy Nick said, "Let's get nerdy."
shout out Nola, shout out Paul, shout out Bratch. But yeah, so to that point, Luke Waffle is the number 38 consensus ranked prospect. So that doesn't make him a consensus 5-star.
Right.
And On Three's got a few of these guys. So Kelvin Obit is the number 35 consensus ranked player, and he's their number 5 national kid. And then Grayson McHugh out of Glendale, Pennsylvania, is a 5-star, their 7th highest ranked prospect. So On Three is taking some big swings here with these
What do you
5-star
think?
rankings.
What do you think leads them to such these drastic inconsistencies?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
it
I
doesn't
don't.
make sense to me at all whether consensus is that wide on so many players.
Yeah, I don't know. I really, really, really don't. Like, I have a lot of friends at 247, and I know a few of their evaluators, but I don't know why they're taking such. I mean, these are pretty radical stances.
Right.
Because look, if you're and look, Grayson McHugh or McHugh, I don't know how to say his name, offensive tackle. He is a 130th ranked consensus prospect. All right, number 7 nationally ranked prospect overall. So you're telling me that you think he's 3 spots better than Lamar Brown, that every service views Lamar Brown as can't miss 5-star. So
Right.
like it's hard. Like I'm going to be honest with you. I like that they're taking stances. I like that
I do too.
I don't want um I don't want groupthink when it comes to these things.
No, you're absolutely right. I completely agree with that because if it's always the same thing, it just seems like lazy writing at that point. Like y'all are
Right.
just copy and pasting the same information. Somebody's doing the actual hard work, and no one is really doing the work for themselves. And if the and what I'm questioning it because I'm leaning one or two ways. One, On Three and Rivals are actually diving in deeper on some of these players than what the other rankings are doing. Or two,
Yeah.
they're just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. But either way,
Yeah.
it's spicing things up.
Yeah, I love it. I really, really, really do. Like that is it's radical. And it should be that way. Like 247 takes stances too. I love 247. I do. I'm in many ways loyal to 247 because I was so much younger when Rivals came out,
All right.
but yeah, I will actually I'll save some of this commentary. Huh? 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 Because I shared this and this shouldn't concern you as an LSU fan, but another guy that On Three took a pretty big stance on, where they were way higher than market, was Weston Davis.
Hmm.
So that didn't work out. Obviously, they were pretty diabolically wrong about that, but they've been right about some of the other LSU players. Where they've been pretty accurate is they have been lower on some guys that we brought in that didn't do anything for us,
Right.
right? Toviano's one of those guys. They
Yep.
were actually lower on
They
Sage
were,
Ryan.
yeah, I
Um,
would say that was the one that really stuck out to me with Sage Ryan.
but yeah, Paul, I see Pearson is in here. Pierce is my closest buddy in the YouTube world. Uh, Paul says, oh, it's cool how they put your Man, your comments look cool. You got this fancy stuff. Uh, do I look good on here, or am I blurry, choppy? Do I look okay?
You look
Let me
good,
know.
man. You look good.
Yeah, let me know what the chat says, because this is all kind of new to me. But Paul says I would love to see Carter break down baseball swing mechanics. I'm not that smart. Okay, I am I am not I am not Tom Amansky by any stretch of the imagination. I do got to shout out my good buddy Blake Ruffino. He uh he fixed Bear Jones's swing during the College World Series, or he broke down how Jay Johnson fixed Bear Jones's swing in the College World Series. It was a pretty fun moment.
Look,
Um,
I love watching Blake. And
yeah,
he actually posted that he shared I moved my show for this and I reposted. I said let's not sacrifice for the men's regular season anymore. Like let's not do that.
yeah, I've done that all season. I didn't know
Let
that's why he moved. I didn't. I know he did a show earlier today. I didn't know that's why I moved it. But yeah, I told myself before the year to not move around too much for men's basketball. Women's, I'll do it if it's a
right.
big game, but men's, nah.
Yeah, no.
Oof.
No.
So
Not I mean,
my wife and I was actually supposed to go to Fayetteville this weekend for
I
the
remember
A
you
Cup
telling that
game,
story.
and I'm so pissed I didn't go because LSU actually played good, and I would have seen like an NBA lottery pick have his best game in A Cup because I
Right.
like seeing great basketball
Great
players.
basketball,
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
and Thomas and Acuff were going head to head, and you could see Coach Cal, a legend, and all of that. Um, but yeah, the final thing here is like I love rankings. Like I will go into deep cycles of studying 247 rankings, studying on three rankings, all of it.
So let me
It's
ask
my
you this
favorite.
then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this then. So with the portal rankings, do you agree that even though Sam Levitt's season got cut short, that he was a 5-star quarterback in this portal?
He was my second quarterback. I like Swordsby better. I do,
I did too.
uh, yeah. But yeah, I don't think it was a wide gap. I think they're different styles of players. I
Hmm.
think Swordsby, you could. I think for me, Levitt isn't as much of a design runner. They're both really good runners, right? But
Right.
Levitt at Arizona State wasn't really a, hey, we're gonna run QB power in the red zone, like Ole Miss would do with Trinidad from time to time, and then Talon at Arkansas, they did a lot of specific red zone running plays. But yeah, Sam's good. I mean, there's no other way around it. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
really good quarterback, and the next step for him is obviously going to a system where there's not going to be one alpha guy like he had at Arizona State, where it was Jordan Tyson.
Right.
And there would be instances where it was, I got Jordan Mother effing Tyson. And for those that don't know, Jordan Tyson's going to be the first or second
First or
receiver.
second
Might
receiver
be more
gone.
Saints. They need a receiver. They pick a number
I
8. Tyson
hope.
might be there. But uh, so much of what Arizona State was for Sam was, hey, I got to get this ball to Mother effing Jordan Tyson as many times as I could, and it made sense, right? Uh, but I will give you my objective opinion on Sam is that I do think he's very good. I do. I believe in him. I believe, just doing a little extra intel. Very competitive guy, extremely hard work ethic. He does have a little bit of that Pavia, I'm that mother effing dude to him,
Hmm.
but it's not as holyish, if you
Right.
will. I just made up a word, as
Yeah, I like
holyish.
it though. As
Uh,
holiest.
yeah, I don't think you're gonna see Levitt and like go this Manziel route, right?
Right.
Like Pavia kind of leaned into. So, I think that personality meshes well with Lane because Lane obviously is a very confident, brash guy. Um, Levitt, as far as the basic stuff, can get very erratic, but guess what? Basic stuff gets better as you become more experienced. What I do care about when I see you as a quarterback is show me some of the high end playmaking. And
Right.
Levitt's got a lot of it. I mean, he's got a lot of holy crap, what the hell did you just do type of
Off
plays, whether it
platform throws, strong arm
right.
throws. Like, I look at them when I was looking at both of them, Sorsby and Levitt. That is, I was viewing them as one is refined, whereas the other one excels in chaos. Like
That's fair.
Sorsby,
Yeah.
Sorsby can operate in design QB runs. He can operate in read option environments on an elite level. His decision making is very good, especially when the ball is in his hands and he has to make a choice. But Sam, when plays break down and you just need somebody to make a MF and play, he's going to try to make a play. Now, the knock on him is that if it's 1st and 10, you might sail one because he got a
Yeah.
little too erratic. If it's 2nd and 7, he may make a bad choice because he's rushing through instead of setting his feet, and his mechanics get a little sloppy. But
I'm with you.
even in
Yeah.
those plays, it's not as bad as some other quarterbacks would be. Like if we had the choice between Levitt and Chambliss, I wouldn't be mad if we went with Levis first, even though Chambliss has the
Wow.
experience
Wow.
in the offense. And I'm
Whoa.
gonna tell you why I'm saying that. We've seen Trinidad do this for 1 year and get better every single game. We've seen Sam Levitt be that guy for 2 years against elite competition, even in the playoff game. When
I
it was
did
nut crunching
AP,
time,
that's you're scorching, bro. You're coming in
when
hot here.
when look
You would
when it was nut cutting time against Texas in that playoff game, while Cam Scatterboo was on the sidelines throwing up and he was making plays, Sam was still the engine behind that offense. And I'm not saying
but AP,
Trinidad
you're
couldn't be.
coming in hot though. You're
Look,
coming in way too
and
hot here, bro.
and I'm
Yeah,
and
you're
I'm not
coming in
saying
hot.
Trinidad wouldn't be that. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not trying to
Yeah,
knock
I know
against
that.
Trinidad either. But what I'm saying is I've seen it multiple times. I would like to see that with Lane Kiffin more than seeing Trinidad with Lane Kiffin. Like
Yeah, I could
like
not. Like
the
I
ceiling is
love you.
higher.
I appreciate how much you and and trust me. But here's the thing. How long have you been doing YouTube? How long?
Oh, I just started,
Here's what you just
brother.
all right. So you shouldn't care what Ole Miss fans think. All right,
Oh,
you shouldn't.
hell
All
no.
right,
Don't
you shouldn't.
care.
But at the same time, sometimes I do ask myself, what would a neutral Ole Miss fan do if they are sitting and watching your channel right
They
now?
don't
All right.
exist.
Okay, but I get that, but let's just say there is a neutral Ole Miss fan that's like, okay, let's see what these LSU YouTubers are talking about over here. And they sat here and watched you say that you would confidently take Sam Levitt, who's not been in this offense, over Chambliss, who, if he played an entire season in this offense, probably would have won the Heisman.
Right?
You're so high on Sam Levitt that you would still take Levitt in a new offense coming off an injury over
Who
Trinidad
has the higher
Chambliss.
ceiling?
I I I don't know. I think that's
Who
hard. It's hard for me to say, but
for me, for
I
me,
think
okay, this is where I'm gonna judge it off of. This is the
okay. Let's
difference
hear it.
maker for me. You saw Sam Levitt with Kenny Dillingham, right? Is Kenny
Yeah.
Dillingham better than Lane Kiffin as a play caller?
No, but he's not bad.
Not I'm
Like he's
not
not,
saying I'm not saying he's bad.
but
Who's better?
you
Who,
I and trust me, I don't but here's the other side of it. I don't want people to think that I'm not high on Sam Levitt. Once
right.
again,
I'm not right,
there's
right,
only
right. I'm
one
not
quarterback. There's only
right.
one
This
quarterback in the entire portal that I liked slightly better than Levin, and it was Sorsby.
it was
All right.
Sorsby. And
So
I'm the
much so that
same. I feel the
LSU
exact same.
so much so that LSU, you know, courted Sorsby, made sure Charlie Weiss was there during the recruitment and all of it. But I can't get to that like I can't get to saying I would 1,000% want Levitt over
And I'm
Chambliss
not
going
saying
into next year.
1,000%. I'm saying if I had to choose, if I had the choice, if I had the choice, which one would I rather see? I want to see him in this offense. I've seen what it
Okay.
looks like
All
with
right.
Trinidad. I've seen
I
what it
like
looks like
I
with
like a
Trinidad. I've
I
seen
love
what
a
it
good
looks like with
torture.
Trinidad. I've
The,
seen I've
the,
seen what it looks like with Trinidad. And I'm not saying
and
I
how
you know
that's the point. That's the point. How good was it with Trinidad? How good was it?
it was great.
It was
It
as
was
good like
great.
you couldn't
It
the,
was the best offense in the SEC hands down.
yes.
Hands down.
Yes.
But I also
But
saw
if
what it was like without Keywan Lacey too.
okay.
You took
And how
Keywan
was it?
Lacey off the board and it affected that offense.
I agree. Now
I've
he's the best
seen
running back
Sam
in the
Levitt
SEC. I'm
without
with you.
Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah. But
And guess what? Sam Levitt was still Sam Levitt.
that's I agree. I will tell you this because when because going through I just went through and watched the full Oklahoma game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when I watched Ole Miss closely, all right.
Right.
So I've always been a big fan of Lane. I privately wanted Lane in 2021,
I
so
know
on
I
and so
did.
on. Everyone's heard this spiel. But I thought going into watching Ole Miss play this year and really fine tooth combing all their games like I've done recently, I became a bigger fan of Trinidad than I thought I was going to. Right.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I'm like, man, I don't know if I don't think he's the best NFL prospect in this next cycle.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. After watching him against LSU, I was sold on him. Like the
Yeah.
kid is a dude. He is a dude. And I don't see how scouts are saying that he's a day 3 quarterback. How is he not in this draft class right now? How is he not the second quarterback to come off the board?
And that's why I'm like Trinidad, quit bitching and go to the pros.
Right.
Show,
Like
show,
go to the league.
go.
Go to the combine and show these people who you are. Cuz you are that guy. Like you are that guy. So I am with you. Like and I'm not trying to make it seem like I would be upset if Trinidad Chambliss
Oh no,
came to
I
Baton
get
Rouge.
that.
I would
I'm
not at
glad
all.
because I'm high on Sam Levitt.
Uh,
But if you're saying that, I just want you to understand what you're saying. Okay,
yeah.
so if all right, let's just say Trinidad started the season. All right, so
Mhm.
that adds 500 yards to his passing total, and they didn't have tough games in those first couple of weeks. So he has 3,500 passing yards, which would have been 600 more than Levitt, and they would have had one loss. He would have at least been in New York City.
Right.
So if you are so high on Sam Levitt, you're basically predicting that Sam Levitt has a high likelihood of being in New York City for the Heisman Trophy next year. You want
In
to go
this
that far?
offense, in this offense with the talent around them, would I be shocked if Sam Levitt is in New York? Hell no. I
Now I wouldn't be
mean,
shocked, but I want you to
I
I want a
think
hot take from AP.
I think
I want you
I'm
just to
not
say it with your
so
chest.
so
Say it with
so
your
here's
chest
the thing.
that Sam is
I'm
going to
not
be in the Big
I'm
Apple.
not going to say Sam Levitt is going to end up in New York. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna say that.
Okay, come
Because
on.
there's so much more outside of football that goes on into getting to New York than anything. Tyrann Mathieu should have been in New York, and they had to buddy pass him into New York. He should have been a top 5 finalist, but they had to buddy pass him in by letting 6 guys go. Like that was weak, right? So, and then when you look at it, when I look at it like this, Diego Pavia had a bigger impact on Vanderbilt than what Trinidad truly had on Ole Miss, right?
Oh, you think that?
I mean, I'm not saying like over, but like if you take Diego Pavia off of off of Vanderbilt's offense, they can't run the same offense how they did this year. They literally
No, I'm
centered
with
the
you.
offense around
Actually,
him.
okay, yeah, I'm with you
You
on
know,
that. Yeah.
so can would Ole Miss be as effective without Trinidad Chambliss? No, we saw it with Austin Simmons. Like we saw it in those first two
Yeah.
games. They were not the same offense. Would they be serviceable? Yes. Without Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt's not winning games. They're the same Vanderbilt team that they've always been. Ole Miss will still win
So
games.
are you expecting some regression from them next year?
From Vanderbilt, yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them winning at the rate that they did this year.
Yeah, that
Just
10 wins.
because it's going to change. There's going to be difference in it. I mean, you're replacing a 2-year starter who was a legit Heisman contender, and to be honest with you, I think he should have won it or at least got more votes than what he got. It should have been a closer
I'm with
race.
you. I'm with you.
So
I hate that that happened. You know what's crazy is Mendoza being the fifth highest Heisman Trophy vote getter ever. Like he had the fifth
that
highest first place, which is nuts.
it blows my
Um,
mind.
and it's also wild that Mendoza threw for 555 yards over 3 games in the college football playoff.
Right.
And Joe Burrow threw for 493 versus
In
Oklahoma
Ugging.
alone. Yes. Like it's nuts. Like still how much better Burrow's Heisman is versus like just almost everyone else's when you get into it. But yeah, I hated that the Mendoza gap was as big as it was. Like I think about that a lot. I'm not even a Pavia guy.
Me either.
I yeah, I just hate that that gap was that wide. So there you go. Well, yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I'm running out of gas.
No, I got
Like
you, man. Let me get to a
I
couple of
I'm a
these
freak.
chats real quick, and then we're gonna
Yeah, go
we're
on
gonna
ahead.
close it
Ask me
out.
anything before. If
Um,
there's anything that you wanted to get to LSU
so
wise and want to ask, go
Buddha's
ahead.
hollering at us. Couple goats right here. What's going on, fellas? What's up,
What's up,
Buddha?
Buddha?
Thank you for coming in.
Buddha's my guy.
Red Hot Pepper Boy asked Carter, "Are you going to the Boudin Festival in April?"
Wait, what's a Boudin festival? I don't know. Do you know
Me
it?
either. That's news to me. If you're still
Well,
in here, Red
we
Hot
didn't get
Pepper
to the
Boy, let
comment
us
quick
know.
enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave the stream until Red Hot comes back into the chat and tells me when the Boudin. You can't just and not say
All right,
which
you can't
city there
drop
is.
that. That's on
There's
me.
probably
I should have
but
threw
no,
that
it's
up there
not
as
on
soon as it
you
came
because
in.
he could have at least specifically said which Boudin festival.
Right, and then where is said Boudin
Where
festival?
is it?
like, you
They
gotta
could
let
have
us
that in
know some more
Opelousas
details.
or
Right,
uh,
like is this in Franklinton? Like,
it, it,
the,
so you're in New Orleans, right?
yeah, I'm in New Orleans. I'm in New Orleans.
Okay.
I'm in New
Yeah.
Orleans.
Dude,
Piercy
I
says
would
this brother is
freaking
spitting. Buddha,
that was
Buddha.
about the Levitt thing.
Yeah, that was
That was
about the
about the
Levitt
Levitt
thing.
thing. He's on your side. Yeah.
Buddha says you can't go wrong with either Trinidad or Sam. Ultimate X factor is Weiss and Kiffin and in-game adjustments. I'm gonna put this up. If Levitt takes the
Right.
jump you expect with that coaching fireworks, Trinidad we know is elite in it, and he's right. He's absolutely right with that. That's exactly.
My guy Buddha.
And then Bratch says saw Pavia coming in at 5'9". LOL. You think these programs lie about their? Oh yeah, they lie all the time. They lie about their mental all the time, all the time. Like like
Yeah.
they had him listed at 6 feet, like 5'11", 6 feet. Like you
This
can't
is
miss that
it's not
bad.
a it's not a Tinder profile. This is the NFL. They're going to, man. Wait, does your
Pause.
camera move? Wait, does
Yeah,
your camera move with you?
yeah, it tracks me.
What kind of camera is that? Is it like some
That's
kind of special?
an instant leak 360.
Yeah. I have one of the so I'm a wedding DJ, so I'll stick one on a on a pole and it will film like my transition and the crowd and all of it.
That's
And
tight.
the inst yeah, Insta cameras are insane. They're not paying me to say this, by the way. But there's so many. there's so many different cameras out there that are great. Um, I do I so Red Hot Pepper Boy says it's in Scott,
It's in Scott,
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
All right, so when is it? All right, so it's in
Right.
April. Look, I can look this up myself.
Right. And while you're looking that up, Paul says Carter has to do some tape on some on Ty Benefield. I'm sure Carter has his list of assignments for this portal class, considering it was 42 players deep. And if anybody's gonna get nerdy on it, it's definitely gonna be Carter. So he's got his work cut out
Yeah,
for him before the
the
spring.
good news is the good news is that one's already up.
Oh, there
The
you
Ty
go,
Benefield
Paul.
study is there you go.
So go to Carter's
It's our it
Patreon. You will see it. If you haven't joined the Power
yeah,
Hour LSU Patreon, now is the
or
time
no, this
to
one
do so.
lucky enough this one's public. This one's free.
Ah,
So you
be
can
still, my beating
go straight
heart.
to it.
Go straight to it,
Yeah.
Paul.
But now and what I'll do is I'll actually send the link to Paul. But yeah, are we gonna go to Scott, Louisiana? I've never been to Scott, Louisiana.
Me either.
Have you been to Scott, Louisiana?
I've never been to Scott, Louisiana. Where exactly is Scott, Louisiana? What part of Louisiana are we talking about?
I don't know. I was gonna ask you that.
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now on the map. Scott is 2 hours away from me. It's just outside of Bro Bridge. It's in between. It's right outside Lafayette. So we drive through Scott every time we're going to Houston.
Oh
Don't
hell
feel
yeah!
bad. Don't feel bad, Paul. I was there with you. Okay, like we're there together.
There you
Don't
go. The
feel
link
bad.
I'll post the link. You could copy and paste it after. So
All right.
for that one, I actually just evaluated his entire Notre Dame game, and he
What was
did.
your
That was
thoughts
one of his
after
higher
that?
rated. Watching Benefield.
Yeah.
He's good. I really I wanted him before I even knew that they were going after him. Um, plays his ass off. He's fast. He misses a lot of tackles though.
Do you think they play him
And
off
I know
ball
a
or
lot
at
of
the
people.
star?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think he does feel a little bit more comfortable at the line of scrimmage, so that would make a little bit more sense to play him at the star. But man, he's a competitor. I mean, he's very active. He understands the game pretty well too. So I do like him. Like I liked him just knowing what little I knew about Boise State. Um, but I don't think like you're going to get AJ Halsey out of
No,
him. I
I
think
don't
what
know.
essentially you got with Ty Benefield is just hopefully a just as good version of Tamarcus Cooley. Probably that level of a player where he's really good. He's SEC quality level, but he's not gonna go out there and win you games like AJ Halsey went out there and won you games
Right.
this past year.
Right.
So, but I do like Ty. I think he'll play a lot. I think he has a good chance of starting too.
Okay.
So
I
there
think
you
we'll end
go.
the show with
But
this one.
but
Bratz says if Pavia showed up for a date listing 6 feet, that girl is walking out before she says a word. And I completely agree with you because that deception is second to none. Carter, once again, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight. You are amazing. I appreciate all the work, the sacrifice that you do. You are absolutely. It's amazing. Oh wait, look, Red Hot Pepper Boy just dropped some knowledge on us. Said that's where Billy's is in Scott.
yeah, I didn't know Billy's had a Scott location. I thought they were only in I thought they were only in 3 locations. But no, yeah, so there is a Billy's in Scott, Louisiana.
Well,
There we
there we
go.
go.
Or is this the
There you go.
one? Wait, let me see.
You going back to the
Oh
video?
yeah, there is 4. All right. Yeah, no, I've not been to the Scott location. I thought there was only 3 locations. So I need to go to the Scott location that they went to today. I go to the Krotz Springs one all the time, and I
Okay.
go to the Opelousas one because the line's not as long. Uh, but um, but There you go. But yeah, I appreciate you so much, AP. I appreciate your passion for LSU football. I saw you a phone call about you know what,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, man, we will. Well, we'll talk soon, and hopefully I'll be on before the season starts. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, man. We're definitely gonna do this again. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night,
Yeah,
guys.
buddy.
Thank you again, Carter. I appreciate everything, man. Signing off.